to the Omega Files. Tonight we're going to sit down and have a little talk about the second box set of the War Doctor series, Infernal Devices. Oh, sorry, I had a toes moment. Okay, let's get hey there, hi there, who there's from everybody. Let's start with AJ.
Hi there, guys. How are you?
Okay, William.
Evening, everybody.
Graham.
Welcome to the Citadel of Troy. Evening, folks.
Texas Tim.
Hello there.
And Bill.
Hello. I've been looking forward to this.
That kind of worries me right there. Okay, so second set of stories from the War Doctor, of course, voiced by John Hurt. And, of course, we have the returning character by Jacqueline Pierce, who is this constant torturer. And she's stupid enough to think that she can put the War Doctor on a leash, quite literally. Okay, let's get opening thoughts from everybody. Let's start with Bill. Opening thoughts on this set.
I was amused. I knew that it wasn't going to go well. What happens when you put the Doctor in any sort of a trap?
It never ends well. Okay, Texas Tim.
I thought it was good. Most of the reviewers are out there saying, oh, this is better than the first one, but I don't really see the point in comparing the two because they're two different kinds of stories with the same Doctor in the same universe kind of thing. But yeah, this is a little bit more hardcore, I think. And yeah, Olystra, I just can't wait for her to get her final comeuppance, man, because she's a total B word. So yeah, I don't like that business of dragging him around like a puppy or whatever. That's just pretty messed up. So
it's like, come here, little dog. Oh yeah, that as we say down south, that dog won't hunt.
And that's only going to work for so long as well, because he's going to get his back on her, I think, at some point. Maybe not next set, but maybe the set after. You never know.
Okay, next up, Graham.
Yeah, I'd agree with Tim for the most part. I wouldn't compare both the box sets, although I did enjoy the far greater scope of the character development in this, and it was more of an underlying story arc as opposed to one whole story, which I found really enjoyable. Good set.
All right, next up, Liam.
Oh yeah, this is great to see that the second part finally came out. It's a great 3 stories. Yeah, I kind of nitpick a little bit later on. I talk about that, but it's good to see that some dark stuff from the Time War being mentioned in these audios that's been going on, and that's why, so to speak, you see the dark side of the Doctor coming out in these stories, which is pretty good.
Okay, AJ.
Yeah, I wouldn't say this box set was better or worse than the first one. They're both equally good in their own way.
I know this one had some. This one had also a totally different theme. We're revolving around different types of weapons, their effects and whatnot in the Gallifrey and Time War. You had the one device that causes disorder and chaos amongst the troops because it's a psychic weapon that makes them all start fighting each other. And then of course you had the big temporal chrono bomb or whatever that for Neverwin. That now that was funny as heck right there, because here's these poor guys. You're marching across the battlefield. You've got your blasters, you got your armor, and next thing you know, you're in bear skins carrying a stone knife, and you've got a guy with an energy weapon coming at you. I know, it's like that would just drive me freaking insane right there and Neverwin. That was just an incredible, set of circumstances that poor group of soldiers was trapped in. Oh man, that just had me spiraling right there. Okay, floor is wide open. Go ahead, anybody hop in.
The first story really scared me, because we got to see, we get to hear the return of the, what do you call them, the Varga? How you say that? The plants, the Varga plants.
Varga.
Oh,
yeah. And it tells you how bad being touched by them really is. That the lady that was with the Doctor, she had to get a hand grenade used to deal with her situation, which was really that was really messed up.
Well, if Mission to the Unknown existed, you'd be able to see that as well, because that's when they were first used that many years ago in '65. But yeah, that was cool. That's what they've continued to do with this series, is bring back stuff from way in the past. Like remember the Time Destructor in the last box?
Yeah,
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, all that bugged me out in the first story of the Time Lords using technomancers for the wall.
Yeah.
That was weird. I mean,
That was cool. I
Yeah,
hope
it was
they
like-
bring that back.
Yeah, you know what? I'd like to have them explored a wee bit more. I mean, as good a story as Legion of the Lost was, we didn't really have enough time to delve into them as much. But, you know, for what we got, it was decent enough, and David Warner was flipping phenomenal in it, man.
yes.
Always.
Yeah.
You read the phone book and you'd enjoy
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, another one of them actors, yeah, you could sit there and literally just read you the phone book, and you'd sit there the entire 4 or 5 hours just intrigued as he did it. You know, it's
Numbers
like
and all.
also, yeah, the Technomancers flashed me back to the Technomages, Babylon 5. And you know, remember
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
that's the first thing that popped into my head when they said Technomancer. I'm like, wait a minute, I've heard something like that before. Yeah, wait a minute, they combine magic. Oh, those guys. Yeah, okay.
Shadow Tech would be like a joke to the Gallifreyans.
Would it?
They also call them mages at one point in the story too.
Major, yeah, that's right.
Or Magi's.
Well, didn't he make a point too? The Warner character that you call them dreams or something, and they're not. That this is what we do, or something like that.
It was a combination. It was a
Or you call it
combination of magic and magic. Yeah, magic. That's what it was. Magic plus technology equals the resurrection device, basically. Keep on killing those soldiers. Keep on bringing them back. Put them back out onto the front line. Yeah. And every time they're resurrected, a little piece of the old techno boys come with them. Nice.
And not to mention the second story where we find out we had a group of Daleks. We're sitting here on this asteroid. No, we didn't want High Command to find out we've been actually thinking for ourselves and coming up with stuff. Now that right there caught me off guard. But then I remembered the Cult of Skaro.
That's what bugged me out. I thought this was the beginning of the Cult of Skull appearance.
You know what it is? After the Emperor had his Daleks waste them, he went, "Oh shit, that was a good idea."
Oh. Well, it was an interesting experiment though with the did we call it a renegade Khaled or what did we call that thing that was getting experimented on? And that was just
Being created was a Khaled.
Yeah, they were reverting
Yeah.
a Dalek mutant back to a Khaled form. Yeah.
yeah.
A Karlek.
Wow. Yeah.
I did like that the Daleks weren't overused in the set, though. This is the Time War, which is Daleks and Time Lords, and so far they're focusing mainly on the Time Lords, which I think is a good thing because you have so many stories about the Daleks already. It's good to just use them a little bit at a time so they don't get overused. And I'm more interested in seeing too in the future sets that some of those Time Lord villain type characters coming to the fore, like they had in the book Engines of War, where they're sadistic bastards, and they're just doing all kinds of terrible things themselves. I mean, they're just as bad as Daleks. So I mean, that'd be interesting to see if they get around to doing that kind of thing.
Bring back Wrestle-On.
Well, there you go.
That's
Another thing we have to.
Yeah, I'd like to know when he popped up during the Time War.
Yeah.
And
Considering
who brought them back and why? Was necromancy used or other technology was used to bring him back?
He wasn't technically dead. He was just sleeping, wasn't he? Because he can't die. He's immortal.
Yeah, he was in some kind of what do you call it, eternal sleep or something like that, or whatever it was. Yeah, where he was like he achieved immortality somehow. Yeah, he used to be that fat happy guy, that talked to you, in the big head over his body. But then he comes back.
Who wants to ring?
Yeah. Then next, he's a really ticked off James Bond.
So he went from being Buddha to Golem.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
But also remember, he was in the Pocket Universe when McGann last left him in the one in the
No, that was Black Wrestle-On. We don't need to worry about him. That was Black Wrestle-On. He's cool.
No, I know that when that one escaped from that Pocket Universe.
It's like a Black Russian, but only much more powerful. No, I'm referring to Rassilon. I can't remember who's the actor who played Rassilon in that.
Oh shit!
In the audio?
Yeah,
The audio.
Don Warrington.
Don Warrington. There you go.
He used to be on Rising Damp, right?
Yeah.
Also, keep in mind, he's Rassilon. You know, you just can't get rid of him. He's like a bad case of herpes. He keeps turning back up every while in a while.
There you go. And I quite like the amount of cannon fodder in this set as well. I mean, we went for people being manipulated by magic to folks becoming worm food in the second story to just these people are resurrected. They're ever embroidered within war. I've got to just wipe them out.
Well, that's what you're starting to see, though. Alyssa, she's merciless. She's ruthless.
She's a bitch.
Yeah, and she just
She put that Ultron thing around his neck, man, to control him, that collar.
Not only that, she doesn't care who gets sacrificed. Remember the guy Jared, who the doctor was so worried about, because, like he said, I mean, they just let him get killed, and it was just like he got really pissed. He was like, he's a pencil pusher. He's not a warrior. Why do you bring him here? That's the kind of you're getting to see how angry this doctor can get, which is a good thing.
Yeah, an administrator makes a good appetizer.
Yeah.
Here's a good question, though. What happens if Alyssa turns out to actually be Rassilon?
Why not? I mean, it could be. But I don't know why he would change his name unless he was like trying to be in disguise somehow.
To hide, I think, in plain sight.
Yeah.
Manipulate everything.
That'd be funny. That'd be funny.
It would be. It would be an evil twist.
Well, you heard it here first.
I like that. I'm Rassilon. I'm back.
That's one of those Scooby-Doo moments. Yeah.
Pulls off the mask.
The last story, the Neverwin, that one, I liked the story, but it got me a little bit upset because once again, the war doctor is trying to be the doctor, even though he keeps yelling his head off that he's not the doctor. I like when he's trying to change the war that was going on and have him like in peace, which backfired. Yeah,
but he failed, which is why I had to wipe them out. So you got what you wanted, and then
no, but that's weird that of all the things that he tried to do during this time war, he's trying to create peace. I'm like, wait a minute.
And that's the end of conflict we sell that Alyssa pointed out to him. You say you know the doctor? Well, look what the hell you just done now.
Right.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, the doctor's always going to try to be on the side of the right thing to do. He always is. And like we were saying before, the big thing that he did that his future selves are ashamed of was the use of the moment to end the whole thing, which is what they reversed later. But I mean, at the end of the day, that's why he is that guy that his future selves don't even want to remember, because that's why he's not the doctor. He's on his way there right now. He's on his way there. We're seeing what's happening on the way to that point.
I wonder how many more stuff from the Omega weapons that it got put away arsenal are going to be popping up, because you always see it's one or two of these hidden weapons pop up in these stories. Like, how many more they're going to put in these stories? I mean, and there was a lot. I think, man.
Now, we do know by the end of the war, by the time they got to the moment, that the Omega Archive was empty. But yeah, it is a big thing they can keep going back to, when they get to that point. Imagine all the nasty surprises they got hidden in that sucker,
At the hand of Omega.
No, even worse, they're going to finally open this one vault, and that's where all the missing left socks from your drawer went, your drawer.
That's in the TARDIS.
I think it would be interesting if they did like a one-off episode, maybe not even in part of the box set, from the Daleks' viewpoint, just so you could see their operation, what's going on, how irritating it is for them when the doctor interferes and changes things or whatever. But just as a one-off, though, not as a box set or a series.
And somewhere in the midst of Big Finish Towers, Nick Briggs is watching this podcast and marking down in the spreadsheet. Texas Tim, thank you, in the diary. Yes.
Oh, no, I can see that now. The Daleks, the plan.
I had an idea, too. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, AJ.
I was going to say, while I was listening to this, why not have also a story or two from the Master's point of view during the war? See how he tried to reconcile himself so he can fight during the war.
Well, when he disappeared, it was because of the Nightmare Child.
Yeah, he ran.
Yeah, he ran from it.
Where would that be? Would that be McQueen?
No, he just mentioned something about why you call it the fact that he literally just ran.
Yeah.
Yeah, something happened where he just, got out of Dodge, literally, to the point, he went through a chameleon arch, and regressed himself back to a child, or regenerated in what we don't know. And then, of course, he winds up being Yana. But I would like to see that story, if they could work it in, with the War Doctor series, where he has this adventure where something happens to the Master so that you actually see what makes him. That would be interesting.
Here's a question. Do you think that happened during John Hurt as the War Doctor? Or that might have happened when McGann was beginning the Time War.
Could be McGann.
Either way, whether it's during McGann or not, we're making a huge assumption. We're assuming that he either regenerated or regressed into a child. We're kind of forgetting the whole thing about artificial memories when you're under the chameleon arch. He may not have been found as a child.
Yeah, he only had the memory of being found as a child. He said
it could be that, yeah. I'm just going off what we don't know. So, yeah, it could be just a fake memory.
Well, it's interesting. You get the impression from the Night of the Doctor that McGann's Doctor was trying to do the same thing, just ignore the whole situation, still have a good time, like go out partying, picking up girls, and going to...
Whoa!
No, I mean, my point, he was still trying to do what the Doctor does.
Yeah.
And it just became impossible. He had to get involved. That's why, in that minisode, you realize that's when enough was enough, and he had to get involved in the whole situation, which I'm guessing the Master just decided wouldn't do that. It'd be interesting if they addressed it though in the audios.
Hey Graham, in light of this conversation, if you run into Paul McGann at the pub, you get a picture with him.
Thank you.
That way we know that you've run into the Eighth Doctor, and that's exactly what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
In the one with the third story, we find out how much Alistra was controlling the TARDIS. I like this doctor. He gotta have to hook up that TARDIS so nobody can control it except him.
No. To be fair, at the end of the second story, she buggered in the coordinates before he hightailed it.
Yeah.
So it was predetermined destination type thing.
She hijacked it.
Yeah.
Plus, she's evil, she's sadistic, and sad. The scariest part is she's also rather intelligent. You can't underestimate her.
Cardinal Alistra, yeah.
Makes me nervous. I wish the chick that was with the Doctor, not the one from the planet, the one from Gallifrey. I forgot her character's name. I wish she would have showed up in the story, but she didn't show up. I forgot her name.
Which one?
The Time Lord lady, the security that went after to look for the Doctor on the planet.
From the last box set?
From the last box set.
Yeah. She was. I can't remember her name, but she was played by Beth Chalmers again. Yeah.
That one.
I kind of wish we could find out what happened to Romana, that she wasn't involved in any.
Yeah, that's another question. I'd like to know what happened.
But we got to leave it up to them. Either way.
You might get a portion of that answer by the time box set 4 rolled around and we got Leela in there. So
yeah.
Well, Leela is there. The only thing that might happen, or might get, if they feel like mentioning it, is that Romana is missing because in the story, the Apocalypse element, she was away for 20 years.
That's right. Yeah, traveling through the dimensions.
They could slot her in there, I suppose.
But I am really looking forward to the next box set, especially with Leela stepping in, because
that's the last one, not the third one.
Character is going to make of the Doctor now. Here's the guy who is telling me not to go out and kill. Here's the guy who is telling me to try to solve things rationally, and look at what he's doing now.
Yep.
We'll get Agents of Chaos in September 1st, but yeah, that'll be coming down the pipe.
So definitely looking forward to that one.
The War Doctor?
Huh?
What's that?
And the War Doctor?
Yes. That's in the next box set.
No, Leela's in the fourth one.
Fourth one, sorry. My bad. I jumped over there. Yep.
That's going to be neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be.
There's a terrific line he has in the first story, too, that's a direct lift from Alien. When the guy asks him, how you doing? He says, terrific, next silly question.
Yeah.
Yeah, very philosophical is this incarnation, with the whole comparing it to the city of Troy and all that with the Trojan horse and then the second story. But,
that brings up a good question, considering that, time does move forward on Gallifrey.
Mm-hmm.
How in the hell much did they extend Leela's lifespan if she's still alive at the time of the War Doctor?
It was something, they explained it in the Gallifrey series. There was something in the Gallifreyan atmosphere that was helping her. It was slowing her aging. And when she eventually left Gallifrey, they explained also that, and I think it was in the Companion Chronicles that she had begun to age, like, kind of rapidly. So it was,
I think that was it.
on Gallifrey.
I think that was.
Yeah, something in the nature of the atmosphere or something about it that was keeping her young, and that's how they explained it.
Somebody send the conquistadors to Gallifrey.
Well, there you go. Yeah. Better than the Three Amigos. Yeah.
The one line I liked though from the first story was one of the very first lines was "None of us are what we were meant to be," from John Hurt's Doctor, which is actually sort of saying none of us should be here, and we shouldn't be what we are now. Which I
also
liked.
I loved it when he was quoting the lines from the Odyssey.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Wasn't the ship named the Tempest from Shakespeare too?
Yes.
Yeah. There was a hell of a lot lifted for this.
Yeah. But you gotta love this series. It's just going so well. I'm really looking forward to the next one. This one, completely different from the first one, well, almost. But it really knocks it out of the park for me. Okay, we've been hacking on about a half hour. Let's go ahead and let's rate this sucker, and we'll put it to bed. Okay, let's start with William.
Okay.
How do you give this box set?
Okay, each story I gave it a 9 out of 10. All 3 stories, and the collectively I give it a 9 out of 10 also. It got good. It got a good art, nice art.
Okay, what about you, Vil?
I'm right there with him. I was thinking about the numbers myself, and it's kind of odd because in certain ways I like this one more than the other one, and in certain ways I like the other one more than this one. But I can't really give either of them a lesser number, so I'd say that 9's fair all across the board.
All right. What about you, Tim?
Yeah, I agree. I would give it a 9. The whole set as a 9 because it's very compelling. It's very entertaining, and it just makes you want more. Really, at the end of the set, you're like, damn, I wish there was like episode 4, 5, and 6 ready to go or something. You know what I mean? So it's it's good stuff.
All right, AJ.
I have to go with the consensus 9 out of 10 for all of them.
And of course, Graham.
Full house, bitches. 9 all round. Yeah.
And I'm going to complete the set. I'm going to give this baby 9s all around. I really enjoyed this set. I really, I popped this in at work yesterday, and I was just really hooked into each story. Very good, very well told, brilliant performances by everybody in it. So it really had me just, waiting on edge. Okay, what's going to happen next? And now I'm waiting on edge for the next set.
Yeah, and that's one of this is one of the ones I can't wait when the next one come out.
Well, guys, until next week. By the way, next week we'll be having a little talk about the Doom Coalition.
Oh,
no, we won't. Number 8. Well, number 5. Yeah.
And then the following week, unless something majorly different happens, we're going to probably go ahead and just do Doom Coalition 2. But
does this mean recruiting?
Huh?
Are we recruiting?
Oh, we always are.
Yeah.
Yes, the Doom Coalition needs people.
Not to mention the Secret Fraternal Order of Graham needs you and your soul. Until next week, everybody, take care. Ta-ta. Enjoy the rest of your
spirits, not soul, but yeah.
We'll see you all.
Yeah.